arrived on campus in fall 2007. Student Environmental Action Coalition was pretty much the only force that was really pushing for sustainability on campus.
We did have a few programs here and there. We know environmental science and policy had been going, but for the most part, there was not much of a campus movement.
A lot of students and faculty, staff were frustrated because we really couldn't get any traction on this.
Looking into some of the opportunities with which other schools were presented as far as taking the fight from legislative to more operations, we saw money was by far and away the biggest issue. And so at the time, there were probably 3 or 4 colleges around the country that had instituted a green fee on their students, and it had been received well, and we decided to give it a try.
Sierra Club had their first Cool Schools announcement in 2007, and that really only included about half a dozen schools that they identified as being strongly environmental. In 2008, again, they published a Cool Schools list, and about a month later is when they published the 5 that failed.
In the spring of 2008, the Environmental Science and Policy program offered a 1-credit seminar on campus sustainability, and it brought, I think, something like 120 students and a dozen faculty together to brainstorm about how we could improve sustainability.
So students got a chance to hear about campus sustainability, did some readings on it, talked about it in small groups of maybe 12 or so students, and then the final project was come up with a proposal for a sustainability idea.
And those proposals were all taken together and aggregated into what became known as a sustainability roadmap.
There are a whole slew of different ideas about what we can do with transportation, campus gardens, waste from dining services. They tackle almost everything under the sun at William & Mary. And one of the ideas in here was something called green fees legislation.
So there are a few faculty members who encourage the students, mostly through SEEK, the Student Environmental Action Coalition, to formulate a document and also, very importantly, lead a campaign.
It was a coordinated media campaign that we put together saying, listen, for the price of a case of beer, for the price of 2 sandwiches, you pay that a semester and we can make serious differences here on campus.
And so we started the campaign and got 86% of students that voted in favor of instituting a green fee of $15 a semester. You know, basically just across campus, huge student support for them being willing to pay their own green fee.
It was a stroke of genius. By passing this legislation and raising all of this funding, the students basically turned it around to the administration and said, here's funding, we need a sustainability committee. And a matter of a few weeks later, we had a sustainability committee.
The Committee on Sustainability is broken down into 3 subcommittees: a scientific and technical subcommittee, an education and outreach committee, and then an operations committee. And within each one of those subcommittees, there are various working groups. And it's really from those working groups that most of the ideas and the projects and the work gets done in terms of implementing different kinds of sustainability initiatives.
So the Green Roof project, where we have experimental green roofs set up with vegetation on sloped and flat roofs. I've served as faculty advisor for the students working on that project. And we've been looking at the water volumes and the water quality coming off of a slate roof versus a vegetated roof.
When you see a green roof like anywhere, they all have these same types of plants.
We went through the entire summer. We only watered them a couple times. They're very low maintenance.
In the summer, the green roofs are actually helping to keep the cool air inside the building, and we're using less heat in the winter. And we're also finding that the water is cleaner, which is exactly what we want.
The green roof helps to filter out things like nitrates and ammonia.
I'm working with a number of administrators and things like that on campus, and they're all very excited.
As the first energy manager on campus, I had an opportunity to, I guess, look at things with a new perspective. This is our infrared scanner. This was supported by the student green fees, primarily for us to assess heat loss in buildings. There's a little bit of an art to reading these photographs, but at least this allows us to take a still photograph of it and print that and use it to document reports. All right, let's go see about the electric cars. This is one of our maintenance teams and the supervisors, Donnie Howard. It's a vehicle that he uses to travel around campus and perform his duties and complete work orders. This is used to service a main fan that services the entire building. A variable speed drive that was purchased as part of the green fees. It had a payback, I believe, in the 4-year range. We have replaced 25-watt incandescent lamps with 5-watt compact fluorescent lamps, reducing the energy consumption for this building. Most of the things we've done are fairly straightforward techniques.
Facilities have to answer to certain policy restrictions, regulation requirements that really does not allow them to investigate alternate means for doing things. The green fees open that up because they provided the money, they provided the personnel, and they provided the time to suddenly say, oh, let's consider other ways to look at how we might do energy efficiency.
A survey asked undergraduate students what kind of transportation they used around Williamsburg. 70% of people said that they just didn't know much about it. So what we tried to do this summer is to find an easy way to tell people about that. We found a tool that kind of already exists. It's called Google Transit. You can just enter in, I'm starting at the William & Mary campus, and then you want to say, I want to go to Target in Williamsburg. And Google Transit will tell you, okay, well, this is the closest Target to William & Mary. And if you want to go there, this is the bus line you can take. This is the time you want to catch that bus. We have a lot of people commuting. We have a lot of people who live in the same area. Why aren't more people carpooling? We talked to different heads of transportations at different schools. And they told us what they do is they have these online organizational tools where people can sign up for or just advertise themselves as willing to be in part of a carpool. This fall, we had 23 carpools sign up from nothing to 23. It's a good jump. That was something that we really like to see.
A huge part of sustainability for me personally is food. So how are we going to feed ourselves? What happens when we can't go to the cafeteria and swipe a card and just see all of this abundance all around us? What happens when we try to grow it ourselves?
This is something that a small group of students could do. It doesn't take the whole campus to produce a garden and to make it function.
Before the Committee on Sustainability was even started, the administration granted this little group of students this little plot of land.
It was very exciting for us, and we started to shift our focus, okay, what can we realistically do with this space? It's this sharing of ideas and building community. Spending time outside, planting things, and learning from each other gets people thinking about where their food comes from.
We at Downing Services, along with the college, realized that we were not in the forefront of sustainability. I thought the best way for us to go would be try to develop an intern program.
And so I told her I'd go over there probably next week and we'll order the cryo vacuum machine. So that's a good accomplishment. Thank you very much. Okay.
As sustainability interns, we initially came on 2 years ago and we were tasked with reducing energy and water use at all the dining hall locations.
So the first thing we thought about was we needed to go trailless. saved us 148,000 gallons of water.
One of the first projects that we first approached was the composting program. So we found an independent contractor who does composting. We were able to work with him, and it's just been tremendously successful. I know this past month we got 15 tons of organic waste that was picked up by Chip Hall.
Compost is very beneficial in that it slowly releases the nutrients versus hard chemicals that are water soluble, and they wash right into the rivers, which then end up in the bay. We've probably got about a ton on board now.
The next couple of years, I'd love to be able to find a tract of land that we have on campus and do our own composting. That would be my big venture.
The DOT program stands for Do One Thing, and it was a program that would encourage people who don't normally get involved in sustainability to start to think about one small thing they could change in their daily life.
There's some great psychology behind this, and that by choosing one thing that was repeatable increased the likelihood that people were going to actually do it. But probably the thing that we didn't realize, and probably why DOT seems to work so well, is that it's just contagious.
My do one thing was to turn off my computer every night.
My dot was to try and reduce the use of my clothes dryer.
My dot was to take shorter showers.
Recycling all the pizza boxes we go through.
Trying to take notes on my computer instead of using notebooks.
To start buying more local and sustainable produce.
Try to never use paper products.
To eat less meat.
I turn my lights off.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. Keep my shower short.
Now that they've done one thing, to start thinking more deeply about more in-depth changes they can make in their lives.
Oops. Hey, thank you. The idea of the eco-house is that you're living in an area with others who also value sustainability in all aspects of life.
The students are currently working on a project to see if they can minimize their overall energy use. They've installed an electrical meter on the floor where they are located, and so they are able to then track how much energy they are using electrically in the dorm.
We're just here to show how it's possible to live a completely normal college life in a more sustainable manner.
The change exchange, the idea behind it is that, everybody wants to wear things that are new to them, but it doesn't necessarily mean you have to go out to a store and buy something brand new that's been, shipped there and use new fabric and all of that. And so our idea is that people that can all bring the clothes that they're not wearing anymore to the change exchange. I mean, sometimes your friends have the coolest clothes anyway, and so you get to have all the benefit of everybody else's good taste.
To me, sustainability is an interdisciplinary idea about thinking, in some sense, bigger than the moment and bigger than self.
That is so important to the idea of a well-rounded education, whether that's liberal arts, whether that's research-based. It's the idea of learning more, understanding, and making better everything around you.
Among the suite of skills that you hope your students have when they leave the university among those skills is an understanding of what it is to be a responsible citizen, to understand the issues that surround things like sustainability and the environment, to be able to speak with confidence and authority about those issues, and to be persuasive in a public forum, and to be persuasive in a career sense as well.
Sustainability doesn't have to be all about big budget projects. A lot of it can be done with sort of volunteers who dedicate a little part of their time to a particular project, and kind of seeing the symphony of all of that coming together has been really remarkable. has sort of a very different and diverse set of interests, and so there are a lot of people who are incredibly busy doing many different and wonderful things across campus, and sustainability in a certain sense is only one of those. And even though I see that as sort of touching almost everything that we do, a lot of people see it as just sort of one facet of what's happening here at William & Mary. And so there's a lot of groups that are sort of calling for people's attention, and to kind of break through that would be